Hello, Michael Bull here with the Commercial Real Estate Show, announcing a special event coming to Boston on October 16th in Boston. There will be a first-of-its-kind commercial real estate technology event designed to connect providers of innovative technology with capital and commercial real estate professionals. It's called DisruptCRE. We have the opportunity to talk to Stephen Hopkins. He's founder of DisruptCRE. Stephen, thanks for joining us on Skype today.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, glad to have you. Well, I know you've got 4 panels. We're going to get together technology. We're going to get together money. We're going to get together commercial real estate, and it's all called DisruptCRE. Tell us about this first panel where you're going to have innovators driving change.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting time in commercial real estate as you're a pulse of the industry and the media side, as I'm sure you can tell. As you said, it's a perfect storm of sorts for all of those components to come together. The first panel, I think, is a great kickoff on that because that is these innovators, these entrepreneurs who have decided to put it all on the line and go after it. We give them a lot of credit. So we have Michael Mandel from CompStack, Nick Ramito from View the Space, and Alex Newman from Pivot Desk, these are the tech innovators who are out there doing it. They're going from city to city, so they also have a very unique perspective on what technology is doing to the industry in changing the business of commercial real estate, but also where is it going? I think that's a big question that people want answered as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's a big time of change, and people want to know where is it going, how's it all coming together, and how's it going to help everyone. And also that kind of runs right into our second panel that you're going to have there, the science of building systems. Tell us about this panel.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that. I mean, if everybody's familiar with your audience with the USGBC Massachusetts, they're an offshoot of the USGBC National, which is they are the governing body of LEED. I would say, in my opinion, an innovative, very innovative in itself aspect to the building industry when that came out a number of years ago. And the LEED system is a way that people can check and verify that they're using renewable products in the design and a lot of other different aspects. So when we brought USGBC, we were very excited to have them on board as they are very used to innovation in our industry and they're used to pushing it. Gray Lee in Boston, he's so fantastic on that side. He is the person to turn to when it comes to sustainability. To have him anchor a panel that has the caliber of individuals, Suzanne Robinson, Director of Sustainability from Vanderweel. They were actually the engineers that put together District Hall. So it's a great local connection to bring her in. We have Dr. Kurt Roth, the Director of Building Efficiency from Fraunhofer USA Center for Sustainable Energy. They are very cool. They're in Boston, and we'll let people come down and find out more about who they are and what he does. But they are an actual living building where they test technologies in the building for the building community to see how they're going to work. So it's very cool. And the last panelist, Barbara Batchelor, the Executive Director of the Sustainable Performance Institute. Barbara has such a great reputation in and around Boston, New England, and around the country for being a thought leader and advocate of green building and in those practices. So that's a great panel that we put together.
That's fantastic. I mean, there's something for everyone at DisruptCRE in Boston, and again, it's going to be October 16th. And here's one of my favorite, Inside the Box, Rethinking Space. Now, what do we have here, Stephen?
Yeah, so it was the original title. I love it. It was the original was Outside the Box, Rethinking Space. So we thought, we're actually literally inside the box, and this is the way to do it. So I'm personally this panel is really exciting for me. We have Phil Hammond, the Director of Graduate Programs from Wentworth. Phil was, as soon as I was telling Phil about this, he was one of the earliest adopters of this show and the concept. So, I have to give credit to him, and that is really, I think, a staple of what Wentworth and the Institute over there of Technology is all about. So he's anchoring a panel of some really, really great innovators that are already making some great headway in the industry. Led off by Michael Gresty, the co-founder and CEO of Refinity. They are the Google Analytics of commercial office space. They're working with some phenomenal international clients that are also looking at ways to, become more efficient in what they do. So they're using Refinity in their technology to accurately measure what their actual employees are doing in their office. How much space are they using? What are they actually utilizing? And it's interesting. You let Michael tell you, they found upwards of people are underutilizing upwards of 50% of their office space on a yearly basis, and that obviously comes into play when they have to pay for that. So they're getting a lot of traction. Stas Gation, he's a co-founder of CIC Boston, which is a great co-work space. They're one of the first in Boston. Stas is, he's incredibly smart. I love talking to him. He's so talented on so many different topics. But he's a leader here of the co-work space, which is a big movement, as you know, in commercial real estate. I think it's not just a commercial; it's more a real estate thing. I think that the co-work space kind of touches into it's a lifestyle movement. So it's far-reaching more implications than just the commercial real estate space. And John Stevens from IdeaPaint, IdeaPaint to me is one of the most innovative products that I've seen out there at all. In general, in real estate and any kind of technology. It's funny, it's not necessarily a technology product, although they would argue with me over there about the science, which they would be correct. But the application of the space I like to look at is when you rent office space. Let's say you're renting a 1,500 square foot or 150,000 square foot office. You're paying more or less for the ground that you walk on. So when you apply and you have walls that you can apply this paint on, it creates this incredible surface that is an idea surface. It's a collaborative space, and it really resonates, as you can tell, with the architects and the developers and the engineers who are coming up with really big ideas. And they need this type of space to come out of the, it's funny, as the technology gets smaller, these ideas are getting bigger. So we need to, everybody has a mobile device, but, things like IdeaPaint are still very useful because you need to be able to take that idea and expand on that collaboratively outside of the devices, outside of the laptop and the tablet and the smartphone. So they're going to be talking about really kind of, their perspective on what is, where are we going in that from the lifestyle standpoint, from a product standpoint, from a way of rethinking space, and from the end user standpoint, from the architect standpoint, from when they're designing it, and the developer standpoint when they build it. So that's the conversation going to be centered around that.
Oh, that's important. I mean, that's great information. Whether you're an architect or a building owner or a business owner, that's all things that you want to think about. And when you talk about what are your employees doing in the space? Well, I know what mine are doing. They're shopping on the internet and they're posting to Facebook, right?
Right.
I know what they're doing.
Right.
And then the fourth panel, a really big one. I think this is a big sea of change that's headed our way if it's not already here, and that's crowdfunding. Tell us about this panel.
Yeah, the crowdfunding. I mean, the crowdfunding through the Jobs Act, this is going to become more important in our, again, I'm sorry, like I'm stuttering because it's really impactful. It's really powerful that this really expands again beyond commercial real estate, and it gets into the lifestyle of our day-to-day lives outside of our industry. Crowdfunding, as you've seen in some of the platforms that outside of real estate, Kickstarter, where you've seen someone get $55,000 for a bowl of chili, or so it's what does it represent? It represents people coming together from a community that have like-minded goals and aspirations to pool their money to build something. And it's something that they can literally see in their community. So crowdfunding from that aspect is very important. I think places like Detroit and some of your inner cities are going to see a revitalization. And that is literally the revitalization of America. Some of our stronger cities, that it's really sad. Especially, we were talking before this about history. I'm a big history person. To see, a strong place like Detroit from even from a commercial real estate standpoint, take the economic hit. You look at it and you want to say, what can we do? We don't want to see this happen. How can we, as as technology and as industry and the private industry, help and change that and revitalize that city to go back to the way it was? Crowdfunding, I think, is a real great way that can take place because, again, it's from the community. And then the other side of crowdfunding, which again we could spend a lot of time on, but one of our a big sponsor of the show came on board again, real early. Kevin Guy, CEO of Real Liquidity. They're very interesting. When Kevin was telling me about what he was doing in crowdfunding, it just kind of surpasses what is on the general surface when people think of it. Like I talked about, using the crowd to develop projects, right? When it applies to real estate, what Kevin's doing at Real Liquidity is he's creating a second market for those, that ask the simple question, okay, I'm all excited. For the first time, I can buy into a building that I've never been able to afford and buy into. This is great. Well, the real question is, as an investor, is how do you get your money out? And so that's kind of the simple question that, that they're looking at addressing, is creating that second market for, sites like Realty Mogul and Fundrise that are out there that are actually doing these projects. With Bonnie Burgett, the co-founder of Source Capital, she's extremely smart. She described MIT, so we're excited to have her, and Douglas Elinoff. Where any time if you pull up any kind of information on crowdfunding, a lot of times you're going to find that people are sourcing Douglas as one of the preeminent authorities on running through the Jobs Act. So we're very excited to have them. The second market, going back to that, it's going to be very interesting, because what that's going to do is it also, from the other side, it's going to give existing building owners and institutional investors that own either individual buildings or large portfolios an option to, for lack of a better term, take their building and convert it over into a different way that they can take a part of their building, let's say 10 or 20%, and trade it on a market. Kind of like the NASDAQ for public company shares. And think about that. For the first time ever, commercial real estate from the ownership position has typically been owned by private families and large institutions. But now, kind of like what the stock market did, when it first allowed people to invest, it's going to allow, middle America, people who've never been able to invest in buildings in their own community, they're now going to be able to do that. What is that going to look like, and how is that going to change things? And it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, that's true. And we're talking with Stephen Hopkins, founder of DisruptCRE. And Stephen, I agree. And I think the Real Liquidity, that's really interesting, because that's one of my questions when I'm moderating and interviewing folks in the crowdfunding business and commercial real estate is, what about the exit? So I can't wait to hear about that. So how can people find out more about this event, and who can come? Who's allowed to come? What's it cost?
Well, so you can go find out information, DisruptCRE.com, and we're real big on Twitter, so you can go to twitter.com/DisruptCRE. It's really an event for, like you said, going back to the beginning, it's anybody involved in commercial real estate. I was just on the phone with somebody from one of the major organizations here, and they asked a great question about one of our companies that's coming to exhibit. And she said, hey, I was at a different event and I saw them pitch, and I have no idea what they do. And I go, you know what, that's incredible, because I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there in Boston that are commercial real estate professionals, extremely smart, but they look at some of this technology stuff and they go, what does that mean? And I don't really get it. There's no context for me. So what we're doing our show for them, the construction professionals, the architects, the engineers, the brokers, the building owners, the property managers, the facility managers, come in, get a lot of great information, network, and this is it's an atmosphere in a place, in a venue where you can casually come in and ask these people, hey, what do you do? Right? Just simply, what do you do? And talk to me on a one-on-one, and that's what this is about. So they can get context. I think that's what the best part of this is. If people can leave our show, these commercial real estate people, with context, that's going to be the bridge, I think, that's going to connect them, and for them to have their aha moment, that's when they're going to adopt this technology. And that's what we're all waiting for, because when these people adopt this technology, it's literally going to change the world that we live in. And that's what wakes me up every morning to do this.
And so anyone really related to the business in any way can come. And what's the cost, and where is the event physically? What's the site there?
Yeah, the event is at District Hall. That is in Boston's Innovation District on Boston's new waterfront. It starts at 1 o'clock and is over at 7. So it's very disruptive in the day. We anticipate people will come and kind of go to lunch and then come down and head down to District Hall and spend the day in the afternoon and the early evening with us. And the cost of the ticket, I believe, right now is about $80. But I think we have a code with you, but we should put that out there for your listeners. The CRE show code that will give them 25% off their ticket if they're looking to attend.
Well, great. We've heard it right here. You can get a discount by using that code, and we'll be there. I'll be there with my crew and my producer James, and so we'll be up there covering the event as well. We're really looking forward to it, Stephen.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you there to do overtime with all of our panels, and we really respect and love what you guys do. You guys are such a valuable part of this community. So keep doing what you do, and we'll support you anytime we can.
Well, thank you, Stephen, and we will see you on October 16th, right?
Yes, October 16th.
We'll see you then. Thanks.